You want to talk about the
that.
Seven
Let's
Soldiers? You want to talk about Seven Soldiers? We'll finish on favourite machines.
Do I want to talk about Seven Soldiers? It was just I love how it's structured. The entire thing is the villains are weird kind of fairy guys, and you think, oh, are they aliens? What are they? Who knows what they are? But they're us. They're the end product of natural selection. They live on an Earth, dying, and the way they continue to exist is by traveling back in time to destroy, to harvest previous human civilizations for their resources.
Reminds me of something.
War of the Worlds?
No, it reminds me. Maybe I'm thinking of there was a thing in Star Trek with like interdimensional beings doing that, and they're trying to force their dimension onto ours, and as a result, kill us.
I think yet again it's one of those things that kind of most science
Very
fiction
universal,
touches,
yeah.
It's
So
quite cool.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with all I ever knew about the Seven Soldiers of Victory was is that what you call them?
Yeah, Seven Soldiers of Victory.
It's it's sort of, I thought they were a very short-lived superhero DC team. I just associated them with Green Arrow. The guy Red Arrow or something, Red Justice. No, the Crimson something. I'm saying, well, he was definitely one of the originals.
There
the
was
Crimson something.
There was a super team in the 60s, and maybe even before the 60s, that had different...
Oh, and Vigilante. Yeah.
Vigilante's cool. Vigilante's in there.
Is he in it? Cool.
Yeah.
I love
But,
Vigilante. Nathan Fillion did his voice.
There is... there's kind of callbacks to older versions, but the fact is, the only reason Morrison got to do that version of Seven Soldiers was because nobody really cares about the Seven Soldiers.
Right, yeah.
It's, you see, the Sheeta Queen who rules them all and goes back and harvests, there's a prophecy that she'll be destroyed by seven soldiers, so she goes through time kicking the asses of any team, superhero team of seven.
Okay.
But the conceit...
But like Sarah Connor.
Well,
Seven Soldiers of Victory.
that's it. But the thing about the seven soldiers is that they don't meet at any point through the book. They're all entirely unaware of each other's existence.
Okay.
Because
they haven't formed yet.
Well, no, they don't form.
Oh, right.
They right to the end of the book, they're completely unaware of each other's existence.
Okay.
But it turns out that the first superhero, the Neanderthal super scientist, Oracles, has created all of human civilization as a magic spell to defeat the Sheeta, basically.
Of course.
It just made me go. That's why I go to Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison, if you want something mental, go to Grant Morrison.
Well, I was like that in Hitchhikers, the way Earth is basically a computer program to find the answer to the ultimate question.
Yeah.
Now, we touched on Terminator there. Mm-hmm. How did you guys think the time travel was handled there? And because a lot of people tend to pick the Terminator time travel apart, I actually think if you come at it from a fairly simple way, it ain't that bad. Because one argument that was always thrown up against Terminator was like, wait a second, why they send him back in the second one to kill John Connor, and the third one again to kill John? Why didn't they just go back even further and kill his grandmother? And the way I always assumed, anyway, and it definitely would work as an excuse, is maybe there's a limit on how far back they can time travel.
Yeah.
You're in the year 2030, you can only travel back to 1985. Mm-hmm. And so on. So you can never go back that far again.
Maybe John Connor's grandmother was a badass. Like, oh, don't fuck with her.
But in terms of that excuse for the time travel, that gets pissed on by the TV show. Because in the TV show they can go back in time, they can go forward in time, they can go anywhere they want. And it's just kind of, that kind of ruins the movies.
It was only in the last episode.
Destroys
really
the art.
where they had
the first episode, they travel into the future.
Oh yeah, they do actually.
In the very first episode. I was like, that was never possible in the movies.
Luckily, just as there are only 3 Indiana Jones films, there are only 2 Terminator films. Fact.
I quite like the third one.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the second one's I like the second one. I think it's one of the most overrated movies ever.
I know, I really like it.
Because I love the first one. The first overrated.
People hate the second one.
Well, I'm one of them then.
I think they should.
So many things I see online are always like it's one of the best sequels of all time. And I'm like,
so it is.
Oh, I really disagree. I mean, the first one is like this lovely 80s answer to film noir. In fact, what they called it was tech noir, sci-fi film noir, and it's gritty. It's almost a horror movie at times. It's so violent and got this real urban feel. It's nice.
It's a real horror film, but it's not really noir.
Oh, I think it is. I definitely feel the atmosphere.
In what sense is it noir though?
Oh, Jesus! Kyle Reese following her around in the clubs and stuff like that. The atmosphere built up when the cars going through the parking lots and the buildings, the enclosed car parks.
But there's absolutely no.
In terms of the elements of film noir, like in terms of betrayal or la femme fatale and stuff like that.
Yeah, femme fatale. The the hero where you're not quite sure of. None of that happens.
Well, you see, it's more the atmosphere. I think it's very film noir. To me, it feels like a film noir, 80s style, but
Blade Runner is pure film noir.
yeah, definitely.
Well,
But-
they're talking about rebooting it.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Instead of doing like a
leave
fifth
everything
one that
alone.
kinda ties it all in.
Just leave everything alone, guys.
I think a fifth one just to tie it in, just to send calories back, and then it's in full loop.
No, they don't need to worry about all that. This is why I don't. There's absolutely no reason why they can't just do another one, just like the Terminator. If they really want to, they can. There's no reason why they can't show somebody else being hunted by a Terminator.
That's my problem as well, because I mean they just completely took it away from the formula of the first movie, and that started with the second movie. Because Arnie was such a big name, they didn't want to make him a bad guy this time, so they reprogrammed him and made him a goodie. And if people, like I've heard people, the main thing to criticise of Terminator 3 is the humour with the glasses and everything. Well, listen, I mean, the start of that sort of silly humour, the softening of that Terminator character, the Arnie character, was in number 2. That's where they started the new Hasta La Vista Baby. They were trying to make him smile and stuff like that. That's when you declawed him in the second movie.
No, the second film is the second film is so much darker than the first film.
But if they do a fifth film, you know, like there will be the T-1000s then, you know,
It's neither here nor there. The second film is so much darker than the first film because the first film is about the plucky, cool human race who are out there trying to defend themselves from these evil race of killing robots that want to eradicate them.
Not the plucky human race, it's 2 plucky people.
Yeah, but it's still there. They are our representatives.
She's not that plucky
She's
in the
very
first
plucky
movie.
by the end.
in the first one.
She kills a Terminator.
But she's not walking around with pluck saying, "We can do this, Kyle, come on." Apart from the one part at the end where she's on your feet, soldier. She's pretty negative throughout the most of it.
Well,
that's why I like it, you know?
Look what's happened to her. But the fact of the matter is, it's about the human race who are having this incredible wrong done to them by these horrible machines. It's the second Terminator that says, actually, no, that's not what happened. Skynet achieved consciousness. We tried to murder the first living robot, the first alive robot, and that robot acts in defense of itself. And not only are we innately murderous, and the machines are frankly better and more capable of emoting than us, we are designed to murder ourselves. Thematically, it's so much. Just has such a negative, desperately negative view of the human race.
I think you
But
may be
people
a Terminator.
What?
I think you may be a Terminator.
That's
No,
what the second film's
I
about.
find it really. I mean, see, as for a film that has so much action, I find the second one hard to sit through. I find it really boring. But, you know, especially the really lengthened director's cut version.
What's
I
that?
find
like that one too.
I find it really hard to get through. The first one's just is perfect for me, and I don't know why more people don't credit it as the best of the series. The first one is the best of the series.
It's
for me.
very good.
Fantastic.
But it's the fact of the matter is, just because the lighting is darker in the first one, thematically, the second one just has such a dim view of the human race. We're the bad guys in the second one.
I even love. I mean, just the music is better. Than, I love that
great
Carpenter-esque. No, but even just throughout the you know, that real electronic thing. I love it so much. I really love that first movie. I think we're just going to disagree on this one.
There's one that we haven't really, we just barely touched on it, but Back to the Future.